Hello, my beautiful souls. This is Kat speaking. Today we'll be taking a look at what's in store for you this upcoming autumn. This is a timeless reading, so I'm not putting a specific date on it. If you don't know how this works, I will draw cards from different decks and split them into 3 piles. You can then choose one that you are most drawn to. You can skip the pile preparation part and move straight to the next part, or you can stay with me mainly for relaxation purposes. It won't take longer than a few minutes. You can also choose to meditate on the cards while I shuffle them and set your intentions for this wonderful, wonderful upcoming autumn time. So, let's begin. I will be taking 4 tarot cards for each pile. For group number 1, I'm using the Tattoo Tarot Ink and Intuition deck. So let's shuffle the deck and get you 4 cards. Okay. Moving on to the next deck, I will be using the Ethereal Visions deck. So, let's get you 4 cards. One more shuffle. Oh, yes, that definitely was the last one. Okay. 2, 3, and 4. Okay. And the last deck is the Wandering Star deck. Okay. I'm not taking jumpers this time, so let me just put this back into the deck. And one more shuffle. Okay. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Perfect. Now let's get you 5 oracle cards, 5 for each group. I will be using my massive mixed oracle deck, so let's see what comes up for all of you. Okay, so we've got group number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's shuffle for group number 2. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And one last shuffle for group number 3. Okay. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, we are ready to move on to the next part. In the next step, I will give you some time to pick your favorite deck, and I will be showing you the artwork to help you decide which deck you prefer. See you in a few seconds. Group number 1. This is the Ink and Intuition deck, and this is what the artwork looks like. This is the star card. Okay. Group number 2, this is the Ethereal Visions deck. I'm sure many of you know this one. Absolutely beautiful. This is the 9 of Pentacles card. And group number 3, this is the Wandering Star deck. This is the Sun card. It's one of my newest ones. So, I will now give you a few moments to pick your group. Take as long as you need, and once you're ready, there will be timestamps in the description box below, and I will see you in a bit. Hello, group number 1. Let's see what's in store for you this autumn. Let's reveal all of your cards first. We've got the 4 of Cups, the World, Justice, and the 6 of Wands. Looking good? Your first Oracle card is Overcoming Obstacles, Embracing Enthusiasm, Voyage, Receiving from Angels. Let me just move this. And your commitment is being tested. Okay, just let me make sure that all of this is in view. Okay, so we're starting out with the 4 of Cups. And this is telling me that you might be feeling a bit low going into autumn. Possibly just a bit tired, a bit disinterested, maybe overworked, not feeling your best self. I'm hearing that some of you are disappointed by just the summertime in general. Maybe it did not go as well as you thought it would, and by that, I don't mean that everything was terrible. No, it's just that some plans might not have worked out. I know I always make massive plans and want the summertime to be wonderful and fun, and quite often it does not live up to my expectations. Maybe you couldn't go on holiday exactly where you wanted to because you struggled financially. Maybe your boss didn't let you leave. Maybe a flight was cancelled. Maybe a friend cancelled on you. Maybe you had some new unexpected responsibilities come up suddenly. I'm just getting a vibe of things not really working out for you in the recent past, and you simply are disappointed going into autumn. Now, before you panic, just let me tell you that it will all work out in your favor, because based on the rest of the cards, your autumn will be much better than you've anticipated. Maybe you've been stuck in this disappointed and enthusiastic mood for so long that you can't really see things changing, but trust me, this is this cliche story of things not going the way you wanted them to, because there's a better way, a better path ahead of you. And so the universe is simply redirecting you. Now, you've got 2 big cards of travel here, okay? The World and Voyage. I mean, that really is kind of self-explanatory, isn't it? Now, especially for those of you who resonated with the first part, when I mentioned cancelled plans, there is a possibility that you will be able to go where you wanted to go during the summer, but it might have been delayed. Maybe even spring. Maybe even a bit earlier this year. Or you might be going somewhere completely else. and you will be shocked by how good that trip is. It's interesting because I'm hearing that many of you who chose pile number 1 are quite passionate about a very specific culture, as in a foreign culture. Maybe specific cuisine that is your favorite, maybe a type of dance that originates in a specific country. You might be going to a country where your favorite dish is from. That's what I'm hearing. I know it's quite specific. You might be able to explore all of this autumn. I'm hearing that some of you are learning a new language, so you might be visiting that country. You might actually be making a new friend that speaks that language, your new language, the one that you're currently learning, or you've been thinking of learning. Maybe both. And by the way, I have to say that it's very possible that you're not even planning this at all right now. I'm hearing the word surprise being whispered into my ear all the time, all throughout this reading. Really, I'm telling you that the universe can surprise us in the least expected way. And I do have to say that I'm pretty sure you might be traveling a bit further than to the next city or even the next state. I wonder if this could be for work potentially. It could also be for school if you're thinking of studying abroad. I'm not sure if this is anything that you can predict. As I've said, I'm hearing the word surprise, change of plans, sudden change of plans. I just see the Wheel of Fortune card flashing before my eyes, to be honest. So I would not be surprised if you keep getting that card, the Wheel of Fortune, in your future readings closer to autumn. Okay, moving on to justice. Let me just point out, before I say anything else, that 3 of those 4 cards here are absolutely wonderful. The World, Justice, and the 6 of Wands. They all tell me that you are getting something that you truly deserve this autumn, and I'm specifically hearing that this could be something that's been denied to you in the past, and you were deeply, deeply disappointed by the fact that you did not get it. It could be news about a project that you've already kind of left in the past, despite the fact that you've worked really hard on making it a reality. It didn't work, so you just decided to let it go. However, I'm hearing that it may be coming back. This could be the thing that will be sending you abroad. These are not minor energies. Definitely not. This is something massive. But again, I feel like I don't want to say it again, but it does come as a big surprise. It's something you really cared about in the past, but maybe it took quite a long time to get it anywhere, get anyone truly interested in it, and you decided to give up on it. And fair enough, sometimes we need to know when to let go of something. We need to know when to release our desires so that they can evolve and re-enter our lives at a better time. And that time might be now with the 6 of Wands. It might be coming back into your life, and not just that, but also growing rapidly. Can you think of anything at all that didn't work out in the past, so you just gave up on it, but you would love to give it another go? This is it. This is it. It's happening again in autumn. So if you are an artist, it could be that some of your artwork finally gets noticed. If you have a YouTube channel, the YouTube algorithm might just push you forward. If you had an idea for a business, you might be doing some crowdfunding to take it off the ground, or you might be finding someone else to invest in it. You know, I'm getting Shark Tank vibes over here, group number 1. So you might even be getting some sort of an award for entering a competition that you might have forgotten about at this point because it was so long ago. maybe you thought you wouldn't win anything, you just let it go, and then it comes back, you get the good news. It could also mean that you've been waiting for someone to get back to you with a decision of some sort with the Justice card. Let's say, for example, a grant. But it's been so long that you have given up hope, you gave up hope and you thought it was over. And then all of a sudden you get an email or a text message or a phone call. So make sure to check all of your inboxes. And as for the time frame, I think you might be feeling a bit blah for the first 2 or 3 weeks of September. However, the moment actual autumn arrives, things will be changing with the World card. I'm also hearing that many of you who picked this pile really, really love autumn. You love the coziness of it, you love drinking teas, you love the rain, you love Halloween. My favorite is the summertime, I have to say. But I do really, really appreciate how cozy and aesthetic and moody autumn is. It always gets me very emotional and deeply, deeply inspired. And I feel like for many of you, autumn is definitely your favorite season. Okay, so let's have a closer look at these oracle cards. So we start off with overcoming obstacles, which again, it's making me think that you really wanted to go somewhere. I'm thinking now that it actually didn't have to be a holiday. It could be, didn't have to be. Maybe you just wanted to visit a family member, maybe it was for school, but something happened during the summer or maybe even the spring that wouldn't let you do it. I see, however, that in autumn you will be moving forward with that. You might have been missing some documents. Maybe you were struggling with getting a passport. Again, this could have been money related. Maybe this was about not having any free time, but I'm hearing that whatever stopped you during the summer or earlier this spring, it will be removed very soon. Again, it doesn't have to be for travel. It might be something to do with the Six of Wands. This is quite a general reading, so I'm not entirely sure what this is for you. I just heard, however, that once you heard the word obstacle, you immediately knew what it was for you, what it was that kept you from moving forward. So the first thing that came into your mind with the obstacle card, that's probably it. Okay. Your next card is embracing enthusiasm. Shout to the heavens with happiness, which is a wonderful confirmation of the switching energies over here from the Four of Cups, bored, disappointed, withdrawn energy to the World energy and the Six of Wands. I'm also hearing that some of you might have been seeing butterflies everywhere throughout the summer, and bear with me, I know it's not that difficult to stumble upon a butterfly during the summer, but I think you've been seeing so many that you were wondering whether it's normal. Maybe you saw a particularly beautiful one, or you will see one right after this reading. You might also like to wear flowers in your hair. Maybe you braid your hair a lot on a daily basis, and I know it's not that common. I personally barely ever braid my hair, so if this resonates at all, there is something for you in this reading, and the universe wants you to pay attention. Now, this is also telling me that things will just magically be working out after a really long period of being stagnant. You might have felt like you had been going through a series of unfortunate events, just like that book. Some of you might have read it. This time, however, instead of unfortunate events piling up one after the other, you'll experience the very same thing, but with synchronicities and just lucky coincidences. There will be things happening that are way too weird to be a coincidence though. So make sure you're very mindful of that and you notice those, because that will be a confirmation sent from the universe to tell you that you are on the right track. Your next card is Voyage. I really don't know what else to say about this apart from the fact that this is a clear confirmation that you will be traveling in autumn. And I'm hearing that you might be traveling to an autumny place, and by that I mean somewhere that's very moody. It gets really, really moody in a good way, of course, during the autumn. So it could be Paris, could be Prague, could also be good old London, or just the UK in general, because it does rain here quite a lot. And maybe the Netherlands. I'm hearing Belgium, possibly Finland, possibly Austria as well for some of you. But I need to stop listing all of the countries. It's a bit ridiculous at this point. Anyway, I'm really, really happy for you, because I've been facing the very same issue. So I get you. If you were unable to travel, I get you. I simply couldn't afford to go on holiday for the past 3 years, so definitely not fun, but hopefully things are changing for the both of us. So let's move on to your next card. Receiving from angels. So again, I'm hearing that you will be seeing multiple synchronicities going into autumn. They will probably start at the very beginning of September. Maybe you already have over the past few weeks. You might be seeing repeating numbers. You may be seeing feathers everywhere. You might get multiple deja vus. And please remember this. I've already said this, but noticing those things and being mindful of them is going to help you acknowledge the fact that you are being guided, and none of what's happening is a coincidence. And I have to say, I myself tend to doubt this sometimes, that the universe has got my back, especially when I'm going through a really hard time and nothing is working out. And then I literally scream into my ceiling. I look at the ceiling and scream, trying to just get an answer from the universe, asking for help, asking for a sign. And then I get it pretty much every time. So this is the energy I'm getting for you with this card. I think you might actually have been doing this recently, just speaking to spirit or God or just universe or whatever you believe in, asking them to give you a sign and move things forward, because you can't take this anymore. And it's coming, dear group number 1, it's coming. You are getting out of the 4 of Cups very, very soon. For your last card, you've got your commitment is being tested. Okay, so this is telling me that don't get too scared, but I just heard this sentence and I have to say it. Maybe this year it felt like the universe was literally cancelling every single dream of yours. I know it's annoying, but it is possible that this has been happening just to test whether you really want it. I've had this very similar situation recently where I was trying to play around with some artificial intelligence generated images online, and I just could not find a way to make it work because a specific page was missing. It was not showing up for me, even though I watched 1 billion tutorials on YouTube. And so I kept digging and digging and digging, and finally I got to where I wanted. It was intensely annoying. I thought of giving up multiple times, but I didn't. And by the way, the answer turned out to be pretty simple. So this is exactly what I'm hearing for you with this card. Maybe something was delayed. Maybe this life journey was made extra difficult on purpose just to test your commitment. I know it's super annoying, but it's true, so don't shoot the messenger. Okay. You know what? Let me just draw you one last tarot card, because I'm interested if we can get anything else at all. One last shuffle. Jumped out. Wow, okay, so we've got the world. Again, we've got the world. Well, you certainly are traveling. I had a very specific message as well for some of you. You might be traveling around the world with your art or for work. And I want to say that it's both literally and figuratively. So I'm not sure whether you're a musician on tour, let's say, or maybe your exhibition is moving around the world. Maybe you're a photographer and some of your photos have been displayed somewhere on the other side of the world. You know, these days it could be that something is simply going viral. But the extra thing I hear from this is that some cycle is coming to an end. This card signifies completion. It's the last step in the Fool's journey. After this, the Fool can start a new journey all over again, start fresh. I'm hearing that for some of you, you might still be in school, or you might have a work project that kept you stuck wherever you are, okay? And maybe you have some exams that you still need to take. Maybe you didn't pass them the first time and you have to take them again. Maybe you have to fix something at work. You know, I feel like those issues have been keeping you from moving forward, from traveling, from, even just simply having this new beginning. And I know that some people really do not like having multiple chapters of their life open at the same time. But you are closing one and then certainly moving into the next one this autumn. This is all I have for you, group number 1. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being patient with me. As some of you may know, these are some of my first readings after a very long time of being inactive in terms of filming, so it's always a bit stressful when you try and do something for the first time in a very long time. So thank you for being patient. I wish you all the best. Take care. Hello, group number 2. Let's see what's in store for you this autumn. Let's have a look at all of your cards first. You've got the 2 of Pentacles. You've got the Queen of Pentacles. The 8 of Swords. And the Magician. Okay? Sorry about that noise outside. So, you've also got the energy is gaining momentum. A year from now, wisdom. What do you need to release? And remain positive. Okay, so let me just have a quick think about the cards. Okay. So, I have to say, first of all, with the 2 of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles, you will be very, very busy this autumn. To a point where I feel like you might not have much time for yourself, or maybe for your partner, maybe for your family or friends. I'm hearing that some of you might be going back to school or enrolling on a course, while working at the same time. Maybe juggling 2 degrees while trying to make some money to pay the rent. And what I'm also hearing is that you won't really have a choice in the very beginning. And you will need to find a way to tackle both things at the same time. It's a really busy autumn for you, and I'm hearing that many of you will be trying to find ways to be more productive. And if not productive, because, I think you will be productive anyway. I guess the word I'm looking for instead of productive is efficient. So anything that helps you schedule whatever it is that you need to do will certainly be of help. So if you are a massive fan of lists and planning, you will be in your zone. You will be in your element this autumn. I wanted to say August. And for those of you who don't really like it, I have to say, I think you could use a schedule this autumn because there will be a lot on your plate. I think that you should probably at least set up reminders for deadlines, or things will get tricky. I'm actually hearing a little warning here. Make sure you don't forget anything. That's very important. I'm hearing that some of you might be doing some productivity journaling. Not really bullet journaling from scratch, because that's very, very time consuming. You won't have time for that. But actually just productivity journals. If you've never heard of that, I would highly recommend Googling it. I know a few brands that do really awesome notebooks that help you stay on top of any current tasks that are still ahead of you. So you might want to check that out. I won't be plugging any specific brands though. So let's move forward and talk about this Queen of Pentacles. My hands are shaking from stress. This is my first pick a card video. I hope it's not too bad. Okay, so we've got the Queen of Pentacles, and it could mean that you're starting a side hustle right next to your main income stream. I know that loads of people do that these days, so it's nothing new. It's not really a revelation for me to say it, but I'm seeing that yours might already exist and you will be trying to turn it into your main income stream this autumn. I just see that you're very, very busy, and I have to say that the King of Pentacles or the Queen of Pentacles, those are always my two cards of entrepreneurs. So maybe you were thinking of setting up a shop on Etsy, maybe you already have one actually. But what I'm also hearing is that some of you work with your hands, as in something crafty, that requires a lot of precision. I know everyone really works with their hands. So when I said this, I immediately got the Eight of Pentacles card flashing before my eyes. So I am also hearing that you are one of those people that like to do everything on your own, by yourself, everything yourself. You're purchasing the items to create whatever it is that you create, preparing your own website, taking all of the photos, managing the emails, making some videos, running your own social media. This is the vibe that I'm getting with the Queen of Pentacles and the Two of Pentacles coming in for you for the month of September, October, November. Especially with this Magician here. The Magician always signifies someone that has all of the tools and they can do everything on their own. However, we will come back to this card in a little bit. With this Eight of Swords, there is a need to take care of yourself in all of this, because I can tell that you will be so busy that you won't even be taking weekends off. It's not healthy. This is going to lead to a burnout really, really fast. Just know this, group number 2. Try and remember this warning. I think it's actually more productive to take at least a couple of days off and ignore the entire world over the weekend. Because the less downtime you have, the less productive and efficient you become. If you don't have time to recharge, your energy levels just drop physically and mentally. So really, overworking will be kind of counterproductive for you during this autumn time. I know it might feel like there's not enough time, not enough hours in the day, but if you do start noticing yourself get slower and slower in terms of your performance, just remember this reading, okay? And take a step back. Honestly, chilling on the weekend doesn't have to be anything elaborate. If you can afford to go to a spa, go on a hike, go out and have a wonderful candlelit dinner, that's great. If you can afford it, sweet. But it could also be just sitting in front of your laptop all day and watching Netflix, having popcorn, or reading a book, having a nice long bath. Whatever relaxes you most. Whatever you have access to at the time. Trust me, I know that in the very beginning, when your hobby actually starts making you money and is becoming this blossoming business, it feels absolutely intoxicating and you just want to do it all day, all night. I understand that. But burnout is very, very insidious. It creeps up on you and all of a sudden, one day, your most cherished hobby is not fun anymore. So you have to be careful with that 8 of Swords here. On top of that, for some reason, I don't really know where that's coming from, but I hear that you might be the kind of person that likes to hang out in libraries and coffee shops, not necessarily with someone, maybe just on your own, just enjoying a book, or maybe journaling, maybe even just people watching and daydreaming. I do that a lot too. So I'm hearing that you might especially enjoy this. This might be one of your favorite things to do during the autumn season. So again, if that is your way to relax, please do so because you will need it. Now, with the Magician card, the first thing I heard was manifestation. Now, I don't know what it is that you're manifesting, but it might be coming true. So careful what you wish for, group number 2. And it's coming to life in autumn. I'm trying to see, I wonder if I can clarify the cards to see if the tarot can guide me as to what it is that you're trying to manifest. Although, since this is a general reading, it's probably not a very good idea. It's going to be different for all of you, isn't it? But I heard that quite a few of you want to move to a different flat, or you really want to give your current flat a makeover, but you just haven't really had the resources or time, or both, really. I'm hearing that maybe you didn't have a car, or you didn't really know anyone with a car to help you with moving or buying new furniture, but that will all change starting in September. And I'm just too curious. Let's see if we can clarify this Magician and the manifestation. Okay, so we've got the 8 of Pentacles. So, I didn't really get an answer, but whatever this is, you are hard at work manifesting it. Yeah, Spirit just said, nope, you can't clarify this. This is a general reading. What are you doing? Of course, everyone will be manifesting different things. However, with the Eight of Pentacles, I think it's safe to say that you have been manifesting the growth of something, whether it's a business or social media, whether you post your art online, maybe you wanted to get accepted into an art course or any course, really. I really like how the Magician decided to show up with the Queen of Pentacles and the Two of Pentacles in the context of working very hard. Now, let me explain this. I personally don't believe in simply manifesting through thinking about something. To be honest, I'm actually trying to practice the law of assumption myself, and I've had some success with it. But I do think that it works much faster if you put the effort in. Not just into manifesting, but also producing some tangible results. So I just had an interesting message here. Some of you may have switched from the law of attraction to the law of assumption recently. And if you have never heard of the law of assumption, even if you decide to not Google it after this reading, I promise you it will come your way within the next maybe 2, maybe 3 months. Trust me, you can even try and do an experiment if you don't know what the law of assumption is, but most of you probably do. However, if you don't, just ignore this message, try not to Google it, and trust me, it's coming your way, definitely, for you, group number 2. So let's move on to your oracle cards now, and we begin with the energy is gaining momentum. And that seems quite obvious with all of the work that you've been doing. And oh, sorry, I'm just seeing something. Okay, I just actually saw a fruit growing, just being a tiny seed in the very beginning and turning into this massive juicy thing of beauty. And for some reason I was seeing an orange, which is actually, I guess, giving me a timeline for you, 7 to 8 months, which is of course not how long it takes an orange tree to grow, but it is how long it takes for the fruit to ripen. So I feel like for you, the tree has already been planted. This is not something completely new for you, or at least for most of you. I think that this might have started somewhere from 2 up to 6 months ago, which is why the card of the energy is gaining momentum has come out for you. And if you do start something in autumn, you can expect it to take 7 to 8 months to actually take off, okay? I feel like things have already been moving forward though for you, because you've actually been putting the work in. Now, group number 1 had an entirely different message. For them, they were stuck. They are stuck, okay? For you, things have been moving forward. I'm not sure if maybe some of you used to procrastinate quite a bit in the past, not trying to call anyone out, but maybe recently you decided to put the work in. You decided to get rid of the fear and do it anyway. Just give it a go. Give it a try. Be more organized. Push through every day, even if you felt a bit lazy. See where that commitment takes you. And if it doesn't work out, whatever. At least you gave it a try. At least you won't regret anything in the future. And if this hasn't happened yet, you can expect a sudden change of heart coming this autumn when it comes to being productive. Okay, and your next card is a year from now. So I think this beautifully confirms the timeline that I just gave you. Okay, 7 to 8 months, let's say, within a year. But apart from that, apart from the growth of something very specific, I hear that within a year, you will be a completely different person than you are right now. You might be living somewhere else, maybe even a different country. You might actually have that degree that you've been trying to finish. You might get that position at work that you were after. You might even change your work and go in a completely different direction. And the thing is, with the Queen of Pentacles and the Two of Pentacles, you will be so focused on the work that you won't even see how far you've come until someone actually points it out to you. Maybe if you are actively manifesting, especially with a journal, I'm hearing some of you have a manifestation journal. In a year from now, you will sit down and just browse through your manifestation notebook, and you will be absolutely shocked to see how many of those goals you've achieved. I know this is quite specific. However, I think that some of you might even write a little letter to the universe within the next few days, listing everything that you want to happen in your life, if you don't have a journal. And then you'll fold that little letter, you'll tuck it in somewhere between your clothes, somewhere between your lingerie or socks or wherever, and completely forget about it. And then, while you are doing some decluttering, you are just looking for something, you accidentally stumble upon that little letter. And then you're going to have this little, very wholesome moment of appreciation of how far you've come. Your next card is Wisdom. So the first message I immediately got with this is that there will be an important event in your life that teaches you something very valuable. I don't want to say for certain that it's going to be a difficult negative moment, but I am hearing that for some of you it could be some sort of an upheaval. Stay with me though, and just let me try and clarify this, because I don't want to scare you if there is no need to scare you, okay? However, I have to tell it how it is. I have to tell you what I'm hearing. So, let's try and clarify this wisdom card. Okay, so you've got the Nine of Pentacles, which is a great card to get. So I'm wondering, maybe this could have something to do with financial issues, a financial situation. Potentially this could also be self-esteem. If this does concern finances, it's possible that you might struggle for a month or two during autumn to make ends meet, and you will learn something quite valuable during that time, okay? Or maybe you will discover a new way to make money. Maybe you're even going to get some grants, some support from the government. I think you'll definitely learn a new way to handle financial difficulties. A way of dealing with issues that you have not dealt with before. And then you will be able to use this knowledge again in the future in case you need it for something bigger, you know? Maybe you're learning about investing. Maybe this new knowledge will pay off some way. Maybe some of you are into crypto. It could be multiple things. Now, the other thing I'm hearing, this could be in regards to your self-esteem. So potentially this autumn something might really boost your self-esteem. Maybe you've been thinking of going to therapy for quite a long time, and you will finally be able to afford it, or you will finally find the courage to go. Maybe some of you win some sort of competition. Maybe if you are still in school, you'll have a new teacher that will praise you for how well you've been doing. maybe one of your posts or maybe one of your artworks goes viral and everyone absolutely loves what you've been doing. This is a general reading, so please just take it as it resonates. Your next card is, what do you need to release? Now, what I'm hearing is a very interesting question coming up. Are you potentially doing all of this hard work to run away from some uncomfortable feelings, from anxiety? Are you hiding something from people? So many of us struggle with high functioning depression and anxiety, where we put on this mask and we pretend that everything is fine. We are the best girlfriend, we are the best daughter, the best student, the best employee, while deep down inside, we're actually falling apart. Now, I am, of course, not saying that all of you suffer from depression or will suffer from depression. However, I do feel the need to mention mental health, okay? Especially since you had the 8 of Swords over here. So, this is telling me that you might potentially be trying to overachieve. You're a very, very hard worker. You might be overworking yourself to try and prove that you are in fact better than others. You are in fact the best. And if any of those feelings of inferiority come up in the month of September, October, November, December, please keep an eye on them. I would really hate it if you let yourself to burnout just because someone convinced you in the past that you were not good enough. And now you're trying to prove to everyone that you in fact are. You are good enough, okay? I'm hearing that some of you might have actually had very demanding parents who could not accept anything less than an A in school. And now all of this insecurity is in a way spilling all over or into your adult life. So this will be a very important question to ask yourself during the autumn months. What do you need to release? And your last card is Remain Positive. Now, I feel like reading this in a couple of ways. When this upheaval that I've mentioned with the Wisdom card, when it comes, just remember that it's there to teach you a lesson that you will really, really need further on in life. I do think that whatever this obstacle is, it won't be that bad. It might be quite minor actually, but it will still put you onto this path of learning, okay? You will still need to figure it out one way or the other. And so you will be able to use that wisdom when the same thing happens again somewhere down the road, but on a much bigger scale. So you might face the very same issue, but on a much bigger scale sometime in the future, and you will be able to face that same obstacle yet again, but you will be much calmer. You will have much more confidence because you learned how to do so on kind of a playground, so to speak, I want to say. You know how children usually are introduced to water and swimming in usually kind of a small kiddie pool, where nothing harmful can really happen to them. Now, I don't mean babies. I mean children that are 2, 3, 4. Because I know babies do tend to kind of sometimes start off in just this massive pool and parents just let them float. However, young children start off with this tiny kiddie pool, and when they grow up a bit, they actually learn how to properly swim. So this is exactly what I am hearing for you. Now, the other thing that comes to mind, at some point this autumn, you might get crazy busy, obviously. I mentioned it about 1 million times now. And it will feel like it will never end. This crazy productive period where you have so much to do. might feel like it will never end. Exams piling up, or multiple things to take care of at work. Your business might actually start growing, and so you will need to put more and more work into it, especially if you are doing it by yourself, as we've discussed before. And if you are trying to balance two things at once, it might all get very overwhelming. However, this will all be temporary. With this, the energy is gaining momentum. There will be some sort of a breaking point. But I mean that in a positive way. This is kind of a world card energy. When all of the work that you have been putting in finally will let you reap the rewards, and you will be able to take a break and simply just breathe and enjoy life. So remain positive, group number 2. And please remember my words when it just gets too much. It will end well, and you will have some time to breathe and relax. Okay, so let me just get one more tarot card to see if we can get another message for you to close this out. Okay, we've actually got 3 cards. I think I'll take them all. Okay, so you've got the Page of Wands, Judgment, and the Page of Swords. I think this is a very interesting, yet quite a clear message, at least to me. This is telling me that in autumn, or maybe sometime early in winter, I want to say, you will have to decide between the 2 of those. Do you remember this 2 of Pentacles? Because I think both will grow significantly, and you simply will not have the time to keep working on both, at least for now. So I hear that one is more of a passion project with the Page of Wands, and the Page of Swords is something a bit more intellectual, I guess. And if not intellectual, it's just something that's a bit safer, something a bit more straightforward, something a bit easier to explore. Now, I'm definitely not telling you to ditch school and follow your passion, but you might have to put one thing on hold. Choice is up to you. It's all up to you. You don't have to give up on both of those forever. You might just have to put one on hold. Okay, group number 2, this is all I have for you. I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for being very patient with me. As I've been saying, these are my first readings in a very, very long time, so I'm a little bit stressed. And yeah, hope it wasn't too bad. Thank you for watching once again. Take care. Hello, group number 3. Let's see what's in store for you this autumn. Let's have a look at all of your cards first. You've got the 2 of Wands in the reverse, the 8 of Pentacles in the reverse, 7 of Wands in the upright position, and the Hermit in the upright position. Okay. We've also got in the flow, everything is smooth sailing, solitude, in silence, peace prevails. We've got show the world the real you, full moon in Aquarius. We've got abundant, and your last card is believe in the impossible. Okay, let me just place the cards in view. I'm sorry I'm being a little slow, but I decided that I want my channel to just be chill and relaxing, so hopefully it's not too annoying. Okay, so with the 2 of Wands in the reverse, I feel like this simply speaks of not being certain about how we want to move forward in terms of our future. And what I'm hearing specifically here for you is that you have, you either have not made a decision just yet, or maybe you have made a decision and you will be embarking on this new journey this autumn, but you are not entirely sure whether you made the right choice. Was this meant for me? Will I succeed? Or am I wasting my time? The Eight of Pentacles in the reverse. Okay, so I feel like you need to ask yourself one very important question. Are you doing this and putting all of this work in because you want to do it, or are you doing this for someone else? Are you doing this only because it feels safe? It feels a bit easier than another potential path? Are you doing this because your parents told you should do so? Because your friends peer pressured you? If this is not something you truly want to do, then you might have to rethink it with the Two of Wands in the reverse. And I'm hearing that if the thought of putting in loads of hard work into this thing, into this path that you've chosen, if it makes you feel extremely unhappy and fills you with fear, it means that this is not the path for you. I think it's your subconscious trying to tell you that you are wasting your time. You're wasting your precious hours. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that all things come easy. I'm not saying you should not be putting the work in. However, when we stumble upon something that we are truly passionate about, and something that truly was our choice, the multiple hours we put into building it from the ground will still feel extremely fulfilling. We will not be discouraged by an entire week of working for 10 or 12 hours a day, because we will genuinely enjoy the process. Let me just clarify this Seven of Wands here before we move on. I want to know a little bit more about this. Okay, so we've got the Magician, but in the reverse position. So it might seem like there's loads of competition. And paired with the Magician in the reverse, I'm hearing that maybe you're comparing yourself to others. Thinking that people are definitely better at what they do than you are. You might have been thinking that you're not good enough, and so maybe you are tempted to give up on something. Now, this might be the reason why this Two of Wands has shown up here, but in the reversed position. You're unsure whether it makes any sense to embark upon this journey if you are not going to be the best, or at least as good as others. Now, this is all an illusion, okay? As long as you feel very passionate about this thing, whatever it is that you're doing, it's never a waste of time. As long as you have learned something, as long as you've enjoyed the journey, you've met people that possibly become your lifelong friends, never a waste of time. But again, it does have to come from within you. It has to be your choice. It has to be something you actually enjoy doing and something you are curious about. It can't be a path that has been chosen for you by others. Otherwise, you might become successful if you put enough work into this, but that success won't feel very fulfilling. It's a completely different story if you are unsuccessful, if you fail. If this is not your path, if this is something that does not make you happy, and you fail, you will feel extra miserable on top of it all, because you wasted a few years on following a journey that wasn't yours to follow, that someone else chose for you, and it led you nowhere. I hope this is making sense, but I do feel like some people had to hear this message. Some of you that chose this pile had to hear this message. Okay, so your last card is the Hermit. So I feel like it confirms everything that I've just said. In a way, it confirms that you need to go within and ask yourself once again, without any external distractions, anyone influencing you at all. You need to ask yourself, what is it that I want? And if you really need to, and you can afford that, I'm hearing that for some of you, it would be really, really good if you could just go away for the weekend to some nice Airbnb or whatever in the middle of nowhere and just sit there with a journal in total silence with your pen ready and see what comes up. I do have to say that for some of you, some of you are quite interested in anything that's spiritual. Yeah, that's one thing, but I want to say soulful. And by soulful, I mean art, of course, in its multiple forms. But some of you could actually be philosophy students, or you might simply be interested in philosophy. By soulful, I mean anything that's nourishing to the soul. Now, I'm also hearing, for some reason, the word impatience. There might be something you're trying to finish, you will be trying to finish during these autumn months, and you will feel like the universe is just throwing you curveballs. But I have a very important message for you here, group number 3. There will be a day, late in autumn, I'm hearing, when you might want to give up without realizing that the finish line is just around the corner, it's just a step away. This actually reminds me of the story of this guy years and years ago. I don't know why I just thought of it, but I did, so I'm going to tell you the story. There was this guy who borrowed an insane amount of money, and he invested it into mining for gold. Mining gold? Not sure how you say it. Anyway, and so they immediately found a certain little amount, and so they decided to keep digging. And after the first few days, there was nothing. I can't really remember, if I'm being honest, for how long they had been digging. I think it must have been a good few weeks, obviously. But days passed, nothing was showing up. And so he decided to give up, sell his equipment at a loss, and repay all of his debts. Now, the person that purchased the equipment off him decided to continue digging in the very same place. After all, some of the work had already been done. And lo and behold, of course, obviously, it turned out that the first guy, they were literally something like a few meters away from an insane amount of gold. If only the first guy kept digging. Sadly, he didn't know. How could he know? So the way he could not X-ray through the ground, we can't really predict the future. You can't predict the future. Well, I guess that with tarot we do that a little bit, but you know what I mean. The cards can only guide you, and possibly they are here today to let you know that if you feel like you're getting nowhere in autumn, there might be a day when you just have this massive meltdown. Just remember this reading. You need to learn how to rest instead of completely giving up. Do not give up. Learn how to rest instead. Take a break for a few weeks, for a few days, if you need to, and then start pushing again. Okay, group number 3. So let's have a look at your oracle cards now. And your first card is in the flow. Everything is smooth sailing. Now, of course, everyone's first thought would be to say that this means that everything will be working out during the autumn months. And yeah, that's great. That may be true, but on one condition. The flow that this card depicts is that flow state that you enter when you do something you're extremely passionate about, something that you are in love with, something that makes you lose track of time. You start at 10 a.m. and all of a sudden it's 8 in the evening, okay? So yes, things will be running smoothly. Everything will be smooth sailing, but only if you choose the right path. This is the very thing we were discussing in the very beginning of this reading. And by the way, if you're panicking a little bit, group 3, because you don't actually know what to do, you don't feel like you have a purpose, and it might seem like everyone around you already has made up their mind and they are absolutely convinced that they are on the right paths, don't worry. Autumn is the time of the year when this realization, this epiphany comes to you, okay? Just give it some time and don't push it. If you don't know what to do, you will know what to do this autumn. These upcoming months will be your time to explore that. So do not be afraid to try multiple things and don't worry about failing. In fact, I'm hearing that it would possibly be a good idea for you to jump from hobby to hobby, from one thing to the other, from one career path to another. I think it would be good for you to try as many things as you can if you feel lost during this little period of 3 to 4 months. Okay, so your next card is Solitude. In silence, peace prevails. Well, what more can I say? This really reminds me of the Hermit card. Group number 3. If you are facing some difficult decisions in the next few weeks or months, I actually don't think you should be asking too many people for help. I wouldn't normally say this because I feel like it's very valuable to have someone else's opinion. However, the cards are clearly indicating that this time it will have to just be you. Maybe if you own a tarot deck, it would be a good idea to draw a few tarot cards for yourself and see how the message that comes up makes you feel. Now, tarot isn't always meant to simply predict the future. Yeah, it can, of course, but if a card tells you to go in one direction, but you're feeling unsure about that, it's a very clear indication that this path is not the one for you. You know, tarot guidance is as simple as that sometimes. Like, I personally like to use the cards that way myself. I expect the cards to show me how I feel about a specific issue that may arise. I expect them to maybe shine a new light on a given problem instead of telling me exactly what to do. So, if you don't have cards yourself, if you don't own cards, maybe you could get a tarot reading from someone who does not know your situation that well. Someone who can remain objective, but please don't spend a fortune on that, okay? And do not forget that little getaway idea that I offered you earlier in this reading. You know, that one about going away for the weekend on your own to some really secluded little shack in the middle of the forest. Do not get murdered though, okay? Don't get attacked by a werewolf. I think that if you can afford either a tarot reading or a day away from civilization, you should definitely pick the latter. Again, Solitude and the Hermit. The best answers lie within you. Sorry, I'm stuttering a little bit. Still, turns out that it's not that easy to just read the cards on the spot and do it live on camera. But I'm trying my best, so thank you so much for being patient with me. Group number 3, and your next card is Show the World the Real You. Now, this is telling me that one of the paths that you have been considering with this 2 of Wands in the reverse one of those has something to do with you being in the spotlight. You being a big part of whatever this project is. As in, you would actually have to show yourself, be the center of attention. Let me try and explain this a bit better. I don't necessarily mean showing yourself on camera. It could be though, it could be. Maybe it's about your voice. Maybe it's about your writing. Maybe you want to be an actress or an actor. Maybe a singer. Maybe a tarot reader. A TV presenter. That's one version of it. Yes. Okay. However, what I'm trying to explain over here is that it's not only the physical presence of you that would be involved in this project, in one of those paths that you will be potentially faced with. This is something that's influenced by your personality. So you would actually be showing people your true self. And let me just give you a quick example here to explain this better. I have another YouTube channel about mental health, but what I do over there is mainly I mainly make videos about other people in quite a cinematic way. So there's not that much of my personality on that channel ever shown. Now, what I'm hearing for you over here is that this thing would have to involve something that's way more personal than what I do, for example. So in this context, if we're talking about YouTube, this would involve a YouTube channel for you that speaks about your experiences, or at least shows your personality in some way. I hope this is making sense. I think that if it does resonate, you will know what I mean. This could be the reason why that 7 of Wands was here. All of that fear of competition, while no one can really compete with you. Because as cheesy and cliche and horrible as it sounds, there's only one you. So I think that, that might be what people love you for. You might have heard that before, actually. So let me give you another example. Let me just put the cards down. There are many incredibly talented actresses in the world, yeah? We can agree on that. But only a few are true icons. Only a few are loved by everyone. And it's not just their immense acting talent, acting skills that attracts people. It's also who they are and how they are off stage. Same thing goes for a singer or a writer. There may be many artists that are objectively incredibly talented, but you are drawn to only a few because their art resonates with you. Let's say the lyrics resonate with you if it's a musician. You can see pieces of them in their art, and that is what truly draws you to them. Okay, hopefully I've explained this a little bit better. Honestly, I think what I'm trying to explain is quite intangible, but I'm absolutely certain that if it resonated immediately, you know what I mean. You probably know what I mean, okay? So your last 2 cards are abundance and believe in the impossible. How about that? What a mix. I have to say this again because I'm hearing that many of you, group 3, might have thought to yourself, but there are so many people already doing this, so why would I even bother? They've come so far, and here I am, starting from scratch, starting from 0. But you need to remember that they all started from scratch too. And, by the way, on a bit more earthly, material level, they will retire at some point, okay? And that is when you will have grown enough to take their place. I kind of like how this reading turned from kind of, whatever, lukewarm to yay, cheesy positive. But trust me, Trust me, both the tarot and my oracle cards contain many negative messages, and I will never lie to you or sugarcoat anything. This is what came up, and I think it did because many of you who chose this group, this pile, probably really needed a boost of confidence right now. And someone to maybe push you out of your comfort zone towards something that might seem scary, especially if the thought of being less than perfect terrifies you. I bet that many of you have been pushed towards the wrong path by someone who tried to pick what they thought was the best for you. Don't let them. It will only lead to misery. You know, I've heard Robert Greene, one of my favorite writers, say a very interesting thing one time. If you pick something that you are passionate about, it rarely goes wrong in terms of creating a potential career path. Why? Because even if it's difficult, even if you fail multiple times, the sheer fact that you love it so much will give you the energy to just dust yourself off and try again, to get up every morning and push it for a bit longer. There will always be hope. This is all I have for you, group number 3. Thank you for watching. I hope this resonated. Thank you for being so very patient with me. As I've said, these are some of my first readings, so I'm still a bit nervous and I'm just trying to make the words flow. So again, thank you for watching. Take care. I wish you all the best. Bye bye.